Hey guys, before we start, I just wanted to say that YouTube Analytics says that only 1.5% of you are actually subscribed. So if you enjoy this, please subscribe. Subscribing is completely free and you can always change your mind later. Thank you. In 1963, in Barbados, a set of identical twin girls were born. Their names were Jennifer and June Gibbons. At first, the two girls were happy young children, loving life. But then they changed and began acting strange. The twins began a habit of never speaking to anyone but each other, going so far as to develop their own language to use to communicate, somehow knowing what each other was thinking and doing all of the time. Because of this, they were nicknamed the Silent Twins. Okay, so that story I just started with is only a small fraction of the whole picture. So let's start at the beginning. As mentioned, the twins Jennifer and June Gibbons were born on a dark and stormy... I'm kidding. They were born in 1963 on April 11th in Barbados, to their dad Aubrey and their mother Gloria. However, they would not be here for long. Soon afterwards, their family moved to Wales. They had a quiet few years to begin with, before finally having to attend school. Now, sadly because of the time era and them being black, they suffered incredibly harsh racism. The constant bullying from their peers traumatized the twins, and they started to change. They became silent and started only speaking to themselves and each other, even going so far as to create their own language only each of them could understand. In response, the school decided to separate them. This backfired though for incredibly obvious emotional reasons, and they became more silent and twisted. Alongside everything going on at school, Christmas rolled around, and the twins received a gift. 2 red leather diaries, which they wrote in all the time, and from these diaries, we can piece together how the twins felt about themselves, each other, and the world. For example, their secret language I mentioned, in one of their entries, they mentioned this actually. It started as a game to them, but over time it grew into something much more sinister. We also know from the diaries that June was born first and Jennifer was born 10 minutes later. Now I know quite a few sets of twins from varying ages, and a lot of them always had this joke of, haha, I was born first type of thing. But June and Jennifer were different. Jennifer felt actually far less superior than June because of this 10-minute gap. She despised her sister because of it. I think this is really interesting to think about because from an outsider's perspective, it would seem that they were super close and loving because of this strange relationship they had going on. But really, they were growing hatred for each other, despising each other more and more every single day. So, as they grew older, they grew more hatred for each other. But these diaries had stuck with them, and so they both decided they wanted to take this love of writing and turn it into a career. And they began writing novels, often involving criminals doing messed up things. So like all novels. This includes one book called The Puglacist, where I'm not even joking here, quote, "A physician is so eager to save a child's life that he kills the family dog to obtain a heart for a transplant." The book ends with the dog's spirit having its revenge against the father, which I mean, Netflix adaptation when? They even had a book fully published which is called The Pepsi Cola Addict, where, quote, "The high school hero is seduced by a teacher, then sent away to a reformatory where a homosexual guard makes a play for him." Did you get all that? No? Same. But enough about the plot. I believe these novels were a way of handling their own dark thoughts and feelings from the abusive years earlier in their lives. In psychology, we call this displacement, which is when a person shifts his or her impulses from an unacceptable target to a more acceptable or less threatening target. This is evidence to be true as when, spoiler alert, their books failed, they turned to actual crimes such as robbery and arson. The crimes the twins committed sent them to court, where they were convicted. But instead of being placed in prison, it was decided that they should be placed in a mental institution, because of their strange nature of only speaking to each other. Along with this, they also decided that each twin should be separated and placed at opposite ends of the building. Which, I mean, this sounds familiar. Didn't this backfire already?
Deja vu, I've just been in this place before. Higher on the street and I know it's my time to go. And the search is a mystery.
Sorry about that, but I mean, I have to. Back on topic. The mental health nurses looking after them reported some incredibly disturbing and creepy behaviour. The twins would often be found sitting in a stationary position, which is a bit strange but not that weird. Well, the part that made it disturbing was that the other twin would be doing the exact same thing at the other end of the building. Just to remind you, they had no way of communicating at all, and normally this is the part where I tell you how they did it, but honestly, I have no clue, like genuinely no idea. So it's brought me to the only logical conclusion, that all twins are psychic and they're lying to us all. The end. Eventually the twins were deemed less of a risk, which I mean, I feel the complete opposite way. These twins clearly have psychic abilities that go far beyond anyone's powers. They could destroy the world with their minds if they wanted to. During this time, they met a journalist and writer called Marjorie Wallace, who was fascinated with their story and had decided she wanted to write a biography on them, which she did actually end up doing. It's called, get ready for this, drumroll please, The Silent Twins. Yay! Best name ever in my opinion. What's interesting to note though, is the twins actually spoke to Marjorie, something that they rarely ever did to anyone other than themselves. It was then decided that the twins would be transferred yet again. The three then had a conversation where Jennifer said this: Marjorie, Marjorie, I am going to have to die. Which is a horrifying sentence that probably came out of nowhere. This claim shocked Marjorie, so she asked, why are you going to have to die? And Jennifer said, we have decided. Then on the bus to the new facility, Jennifer lied down on June and died from swelling of the heart. So you're probably thinking that June murdered Jennifer. Well, that is not the case. They checked for foul play, and there was nothing. They checked for poison, and there was nothing. There was no allergic reaction to anything, and there were no harmful substances in her body of any kind. She just died like she said she would, and that was that. And that's the story of the Silent Twins. Marjorie wrote her book. June was let go from the mental institution, a short while afterwards actually, and she lived a perfectly normal life. She acted like and was a genuinely normal human being. June has actually since commented on the whole situation, saying that she felt their punishment was unfair and that they were only there that long because of the fact that they only spoke to one another. Which is correct. Yeah, to be fair, I don't understand her point. Anyway, back on track. It was as if a curse had been lifted from June. She and Jennifer decided one must die to set the other free. There's a lesson here somewhere. Or maybe a relaxing thought? A dark and twisted one, but I guess it's kinda nice. But honestly, I have so many questions. Like, how did Jennifer literally just die Or how did she and June communicate in the mental institution? How did they do any of this? Genuinely, I want answers. There must have been something they missed, surely. Unless they really did have special abilities. Huh. That's silly. I think it probably is just better off a mystery. Before I close though, I want to leave you with a poem that June wrote to go on Jennifer's tombstone. It goes like this. We once were two. We two made one. We no more two. Through life be one. Rest in peace. Hello, this is Octaps. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you want to see more. And if you hated it, hit the dislike button and tell me what went wrong. This was a crazy video to research. And that ending poem is just... ew. Not gonna lie, it freaked me the hell out. But it's also kind of a sad story. Sorry for taking so long with the new upload, by the way. I've been really busy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye!